Hi there, guys. Michael the Comic Nerd here once again. This is kind of overdue, but better late than never. Grant and Sarah have joined me today to go over the, it's kind of lurking in the shadows there a bit, the top 10 and top worst movies of the year. Now keep in mind, we are basing this solely on movies that we reviewed on the show, not ones that we've seen on our own personal time. I had to draw a line somewhere. Sorry, guys. I pissed both of you off, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
42.
So,
okay.
So yeah, which also means that
these are not the worst of the year, period. It's just worst that we've seen, or the best that we've seen.
Yes, and or reviewed and seen.
Yeah. So that does not mean we had to be there when we recorded this particular review. It just means that we talked about it at some point or another over the course of the year.
After having actually seen it.
Exactly. So, that getting started, I guess I'll start off with my number 10 for best of the year. We're going to split this in two videos. This one's the best, the next one's going to be the worst, etc. Blah. And might be split into more than one part, depending on how long it goes. So, first one I have for my number 10. Wolf of Wall Street. Surprisingly made my number 10 spot.
So I would have expected that to be higher.
I don't know. For me, it's just like...
Actually, wait, no. Never mind, I can believe that based on the stuff I've been hearing.
For me, it's just one of those things. First off, it's 3 hours long, and it's like I'm not a big Scorsese fan. I haven't seen too much of his work. I haven't seen too much of his work, so I'm not saying he's a bad director. But not by any means am I saying that.
I think the only one you've seen, like off the top of my head, is probably Taxi Driver, and I showed you.
Yeah,
that,
that's yeah. So I mean, yeah, he's a very good director. Don't get me wrong. This one, it's way too long.
Yeah, I've heard it was too much emptiness.
It's not just too much emptiness. It's too much just constant high energy. Like it's on all the time. It doesn't give you a chance to breathe. It doesn't really give you a chance to soak it in. That's not to say it's not well constructed. It's very well constructed. That's hence why it's on the list.
Yeah.
But it's like Leonardo DiCaprio screams at the camera for 3 straight hours. there's like sex, drugs, and titties everywhere.
And according to you and Lewis, a lot of gratuitous swearing.
Yeah, you think I swear a lot? The fucking people like in this movie. And Bugsy, that name is. Anyway. But it's like...
Even... God, son, I'm blanking out. Even Tarantino is saying, tone it down.
Then he dropped the N-word.
No, that is what Samuel L. Jackson would have done.
Yes.
Anyway, but it's still very well good. Like it's still, despite the high energy of it, it's still constructed very well. It's very concise. It's a very concise story, very well acted and well written. But it's for me, I was physically exhausted by the time the movie was over. And some people can thrive off that. Like I was talking to Lisa about it a little, and she said that basically, like, it's a movie that kept her up that night because it was so high energy. But for me, that exhausts me really fast. So for me, it was just too much. But it's still very well done. It's very well acted. It's just overall, it's still a pretty good movie. But I don't think it's as good as a lot of people are saying it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And
I can't really say because I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but basically, yeah, I've been hearing similar sentiments about what you said.
Mm-hmm. So then, Grant, I think it's time for your. What's your number 10? Or I'm sorry.
You know what? No, I can throw it at number 10. I'd say probably Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. All right, yeah, I can see that.
Because actually, like, I will admit, had I seen Wolf of Wall Street, that'd probably be on the list. Because, like,
yeah.
I mean, truth be told, there were a few movies I wanted to see. You know, that would be on this list. You know, 12 Years a Slave, American Hustle. God, there's a couple others I suddenly can't think of. But it's like, I'm not gonna lie, by the sound of things, I'm wishing those were on the list.
Hey, I love Pacific Rim. I thought it was...
Yeah. It's like, it wasn't necessarily a spectacular movie, but I mean, for me, it was a fun movie. Like, it kind of gave me a chance to, like, nerd out a bit, even if, you know... Here's the weird thing. People say it's weird when, like, you can't tell someone of a specific race apart.
You racist bastard.
No. For the love of God, I had trouble picking out the white people apart in this movie. No, I swear to God! I thought the main character and the Australian guy were the same person several times. It's like, wait a minute, why are you standing there smiling? So did you just get your ass kicked?
Oh, good. Thanks. I pissed off our Australian audience. Apparently, it exists. I look at the statistics.
What's up, Australia?
It's only like 1%, but still.
So it's just like, it's like, and then it's like, it's like, thankfully after a while, like, I was able to discern them, but it's like, I wasn't the only one. It's like, everyone, like, a lot of people I talk to is just like, yeah, I had trouble, like, telling who the hell was who sometimes.
Well, you can tell who the Russians are.
Well, yeah, because they look like Ivan Drago.
That's quite true. And of course, they were Russian, so they had the big macho thing. Even like the woman, I'm pretty sure had a pair of balls somewhere.
Yeah. For me, like, I'm trying to, like, what I like was, like, it was kind of an interesting take with the Faux-mance.
Yeah, like they did actually end up together, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah. Well, they kind of did, but it's just like the way that it was explored was interesting. Even if it did result in some really, really cheesy lines.
Oh, come on. That was part of the fun, though.
No, there were times where it was groan-worthy. And, like,
fair enough.
Some of the other parts that, like, I wasn't bugging about the movie's like, yeah, the mech design is nothing spectacular except for, Chernog Alpha, I'd say. He was kind of wasn't spectacular, but interesting. And unfortunately, it's like, it was clear that these bosses were throwaways, and they just, like, the first time you see them fight.
Yeah, it's still pretty fucking awesome, man.
And also, the ending was a cop-out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Once you go through this portal, there's no way we're getting back. Except we can!
Yeah, I would agree on that, but...
Oh, God. But, I mean, still, it was just really damn fun, and, like, it's hard to knock it for that, because, like, it accomplished the goal it was going for. It was basically just, it was a Japanese mech anime for the most part.
And I was okay with that.
Yeah. Also, I will say this, the 3D was pretty well done, too.
I don't think I saw it in 3D.
Well, it was converted, but thankfully, the idea was conceived early enough where, like, it was actually made to look as natural as possible. Mm-hmm. So I was like, thank you, Del Toro. Thank you for putting your foot down on this.
Yeah, well, it's nice that you can actually see what the hell was happening, which is a nice in phase 2. Regarding the rain effects, kind of made it difficult sometimes. But even
and that's the other thing. It's like, I didn't have trouble seeing it. The funny thing is, like, 3D makes everything darker.
Yep, it does.
So it's just like...
Yeah, go Del Toro.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I guess I was one of those standouts. But anyway, I think, that's my number 10 of the stuff we reviewed.
Okay. Sarah?
So, my number 10 may be a bit controversial among actual fans of this character and its source material, but I had a good time seeing it in the theater. I enjoyed the explosions. I enjoyed the continuation of the story. And I enjoyed Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of somebody suffering from PTSD. My number 10 is Iron Man 3.
I liked it too. A lot of people hate it. I get why. That's what I say. A lot of people like it. I understand why people didn't like it. I still thought what they did good was still very well done. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And for somebody like myself who does not read comic books, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons that had been adapted from comic books. So I'm not as familiar with the original source material, but for what it is, I thought that it was well done. And I enjoyed the performances, I enjoyed the special effects, I enjoyed the stunt choreography. It's just a fun time at the theater, and
screw you haters.
Yeah, and that's why it's my number 10. So.
No, I agree. It's like, I don't think it's as bad as people like. I understand why people didn't like it. The Mandarin is a very well-known Iron Man villain. Even though I don't know this personally because I'm not a huge Iron Man fan, but I've heard a lot from Iron Man fans that the Mandarin is honestly a very inconsistently written character anyway.
Pretty much. I mean, the only reason he exists was because Marvel wanted to use Fu Manchu, but they couldn't.
Yeah. Well, they still have the giant dragon thing.
Yeah. So basically, it was the closest thing they could get to actually having him. According to my more comic literate friends.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things. But either way, it didn't change the fact that you change anything from comics movies, someone's gonna get pissed off. So, and people were pissed off. The guy got death threats. Like, the writer got death threats. It was ridiculous.
Damn.
But you gotta take shit very, very seriously. Yeah.
Well, you'll be happy to hear that with the upcoming Blu-rays, they're going to rectify that. So,
yeah.
Yay, special features.
Quit your whining.
This is not gonna stop. What are you talking about? The whining never stops. This is comic books.
Yeah. Kind of like how my whining never stops about video game movies.
Yeah, pretty well. To be fair, they all suck.
Yes, they do! So at least for us, it's justified.
Yeah. So let's be fair on that one. All right. So do you have anything more to add to that? Or?
No, it made number 10 because I enjoyed it. Like I said, I liked the performances and how it was constructed and put together. I'm not saying that it's an art film. I'm just saying it's a fun 2 hours.
Yep. Okay, so in that case, move on to number 9. My number 9, I don't think either of you guys saw this movie. My number 9 is Don John.
I really wanted to see that, but my girlfriend wanted to see it with me, and therefore, I was like, well, I'm not going to go see it without her, even though I know it's never going to happen. Love you!
As we filmed this at her residence. Oh, sorry.
Anyway, moving on. So Don John was the Josh. What the hell's his name? Joshua Gordon-Levitt.
Mm-hmm. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I knew it was one of the two. Joseph Gordon-Levitt directed movie, which is his first directorial debut. I thought, me and Lisa saw this. I thought it was very, very good. Of course, there's a lot of porn in it, oddly enough, which makes me a little uncomfortable with my female friends in the room. As you kind of do that awkward thing with guys. I don't know, it's less awkward with guys. When you have like a female friend next to you, you're kind of like, it's like watching Game of Thrones with family in the room.
I haven't tried that yet. I don't think that I will.
It's like nothing like porn every week to bring the family together. Anyway, this is awkward. Get back to the beheadings.
Red wedding.
Oh my goodness. Anyway,
I'm only in season. I haven't even watched season 3 though, so say no more.
yeah.
Oh, I've only seen season 1 recaps of.
Anyway, back to Don John. Is this what I like about it is it is a very crude humor comedy, but at the same time it doesn't rely on those shtick. Like there's still a thought process behind it.
Yeah.
It has a point to make. Granted, looking back at it now, their solution for the whole porn addiction thing is pretty simple. It's like almost too simple. Like looking back at it, because it's basically like it's. The fact they talk about it at all, which is like porn addiction is one of those kind of taboo topics that like we don't see it brought up very often. So the fact they even go try to really talk about it, really kind of explore it a little bit, is a nice change of pace. And for the most part, it's done pretty well. But at the same time, it's like their solution to the porn addiction is pretty straightforward. Well, you're basically just doing it because you lack that emotional connection with somebody, which may or may not be true. But it's like any addiction, I don't think there's that quick of a fix. But other than that, it's very well written. It's very well acted. George Gordon-Levitt has a very clear, confident directing style. So I know he's working on a TV show right now, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be curious to see how he does with that. Either way, if this is just the start of his directing career, it's very promising. So that's about. And of course, Scarlett Johansson is just fucking fantastic. Like she can actually act. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree.
No, she can.
Well, because my family gets dismissive. It's like, no, you clearly have not seen the movies that I've seen Scarlett Johansson in, where she actually can fucking act, and she's great in this movie. But yeah, that's Don John, number 9. Right, Grant, your turn.
Number 9 would be Iron Man 3.
All right, and we're back to that one.
Basically, similar things you said. Like it was, like I said, not necessarily my top 10 ever of last year, just of what I've seen.
Yes.
That's what we've talked about before. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a very fun and funny movie. But I will admit, the PTSD stuff that did give him some depth, but I feel like kind of mismanaged it.
Well, I think the big problem with PTSD, I like that they did it, but they kind of handled it. Yeah. They kind of just threw it away towards the third act.
Well, it's more like they kind of undercut it with the humor aspect of it. It's like you want to show this man is being tortured. It's just like all of a sudden there's like goofy things happening at the same time. It's just like it's a little jarring.
Comedy.
Well, it's a stress disorder that, and what I'm about to say is based off of what I learned in psych classes. I'm not an expert, just slightly informed. It's a stress disorder that denial is a symptom of. Some people who suffer from PTSD aren't very wary of it as they experience the symptoms.
Yeah.
So I see your point, but I am glad that they included it.
Yeah. Well, it's like it was a good angle. It's just as I said, I think they kind of didn't handle it the best way.
Well,
So like if they kind of were a little bit more.
Sufferers don't always handle it in the best way either.
Yeah. No, it's the idea that it felt like more they're making a joke out of it than trying to be like.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they could have done it better.
Yeah.
But like
It was like every time he's having a panic attack, he's like, I'm kind of laughing at some of the stuff he's saying. He's just like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right.
sometimes it works well. Like the diner scene, I thought worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Like when him and Rhodey and the Rhodey actually is going to be in the Avengers too, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Yeah, like they finally got him in there. They just cast a second villain for that too, but that's off topic.
And like as a guy who like doesn't necessarily read too many comics, I think it was easier for me to kind of deal with the whole Mandarin thing. Like I knew of it, but
Yeah, same here.
it's just like I thought the twist was hysterical, and like it showed just like how like it explains a lot of like the way he was acting is because like he had a certain over the top nature to it, but it's like at the same time he played it off so well. Then you realize like. Well, no wonder. It all made sense.
And I was gonna get into Ben Kingsley's performance as the Mandarin. I was kind of getting behind it, and then they kind of pulled the wool from my eyes, and that was.
It was like yeah, like it was great. Just some of the other like I really enjoy Shane Black as a writer because he also did this movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
I really want to see that. I've heard the dialogue and it is amazing.
It is. And I will admit, it's like, I understand, like, people, I think they also wanted to see more Iron Man, less Tony Stark. But it's like,
Tony Stark is
Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's a mistake Iron Man 2 made. Was pretty much like more Iron Man, less Tony Stark. But
pretty much.
That's what I like about Iron Man 3, though, is that, for better or worse, it's still it's Tony Stark's story.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, say what you will about the after credit scene, but it's still Tony Stark's story.
Oh, yeah.
That also pissed a lot of people off. Because apparently, like, you had an extra credit scene, you wasted it on that. We want to tease it for Avengers 2. It's like,
they're still working on it, so wham.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts about it.
And after what happened with Thor 2, it's just like, I don't.
I was okay with the Thor 2 after credit scene.
No, I mean, just like, had they done a lead up to Thor 2, I think it would have been more disappointing with Thor 2. That's what
Point. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
But yeah, so once again, it's like, not on the top 10 of stuff I'd seen, just top 10 of stuff we reviewed.
Yes,
Yeah, so.
which is why
Consider it a filler spot then, basically.
basically that's what it was for me as well.
Okay, Sarah, your turn.
My number 9 is a simplistic but touching coming of age story that had a subtle but good villainous performance by Steve Carell, and it is a little independent film called The Way, Way Back.
Oh, that one. Yes. I was like, wait, what's she talking about?
Another one I really want to see.
That was a really good one. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I did too, and I loved Sam Rockwell's performance and character in it. There's a scene where he basically says the lyrics to Holding Out for
Oh, yeah!
a hero. And it's hilarious! And his character is so charming, and I was really able to empathize with the main protagonist, who is this teenage kid, the teenage son of a single mom who is dating Steve Carell, who's kind of
a douche.
A douche, yes. And it's...
I like Steve Carell. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it's a very touching coming-of-age summer story, and I really enjoyed it.
No, I thought it was a really good movie, too. I mean, Sam Rockwell in Way, Way Back is basically what Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2, except he's actually likable in this one.
Very.
And his dialogue is written better.
Oh, very.
But it's still Sam Rockwell. He's a likable enough actor. It's a very good. I think I mentioned this in the actual review we did. I think The Way, Way Back kind of understood the teenage mind better than a lot of other coming-of-age movies of the time. That basically, like, it's a very off-putting, confusing time for kids. It kind of does. It has that stereotypical the shy kid who learns how to open up cliche, which is kind of annoying.
Yes,
But it's still done very well.
yes, it's paced well. They don't cram it down your throat. It's not riddled with cliches. Any cliches that it does have it fit in well with how the story flows.
Well, it's like what made it good, in my opinion, is the fact that it understood that, especially for teenagers at that time, because like there's, well, especially when you're a kid growing up at all, really, like you're introduced to all these different like things about basically difficult situations about being an adult that when you're growing up you just don't understand, and you see it as like it should be as much more simplistic problem than or like there's a simplistic solution to it, and a lot of times it's not that simple. So I like to they handled that very well, in my opinion.
They did. It's very intelligently and respectfully done.
All right, and I assume you have nothing to say on this one, right? Because you weren't there for it.
Pretty much.
All right. Number 8 for me. My number 8. This might surprise you. Pacific Rim is actually my number 8. I mentioned this in the review. I was a huge Godzilla fan when I was a little kid. I still have all the movies, most of which were on VHS, by the way. But in this movie,
Sorry, just the thinking. Even the Roland Emmerich one.
Which one was the Roland Emmerich one?
The American Godzilla.
Oh yeah, yep, I got that one too. Actually, I'm not proud of it, but I got it.
You really are a Godzilla fan.
I am still. I can't wait for the new one. But anyway, so going to this movie, there's something about this movie that just reawoken my inner child. Quality-wise, it is not the best. I'll be the first to say it has a lot of flaws. It is far from perfect. I know that, and I don't care. Like, quality-wise, no, this probably does not deserve to be on the list, but I had such a goddamn good time with it. Like, I was, on that fight scene in the rain of the two monsters, I was so damn giddy with joy that I was, like, hopping up and down like a little kid, like, yay! And pretty much, it's like, I just nerded out for the whole, like, hour and 45. I ran tons of plot holes, annoying characters, stupid cliches.
And white people you can't tell apart.
But I really liked the way the creatures were designed. I really liked the use of colors. I liked the use of. I thought the tech designs were actually pretty good. Like, I think you and I kind of differ in that one, but
yeah, because I'm just saying, like, I used to watch a lot of things like, Gundam, Macross, and all that. It's like when you look at those, it's just like,
I'm sure they pale in comparison.
Oh yeah, and that I will admit, just when you look at those, like, Del Toro, I feel like you could have gone a little bit further.
Maybe for Pacific Rim 2, if that gets made.
Let's see.
Well, I heard they're writing the script, so who knows if they'll get greenlit or not. Hopefully, well, I'd like to see a sequel. Anyway. Overall, it's one of those movies, I just had so much fun with it that it's the only movie I can think of that disabled the criticky part of my brain. Because I was like, no, I don't want to think too hard about this. I'm enjoying this too much. So, for me, that's why it's earned its spot on the list. Even though quality-wise, I know it doesn't fucking deserve to be on there. So that's my number 8.
My number 8 is Monsters University. So yeah, it's like, definitely not my favorite Pixar movie, but like, it was still enjoyable. It felt kind of like, your typical college movie, like, in the beginning, but it was near the end that
it's
the movie
the third act that really
sets
my part.
I was like, holy, that is some interesting examinations. Because, like, that's when, like, the movie, like, actually tried to, like...
really kind of examine the characters.
Examine them, like, make them really connect.
Mm-hmm.
And,
no, like, that scene at the lake is fantastic.
Yeah,
It is.
I was, like, just
really
completely engrossed at that point.
No, I was the same exact way. I saw it twice in theaters. I thought I liked it both times.
What else? And, of course, there was the... And once again, this is also a movie where there are some giant plot holes, namely, the entire movie technically shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I think it was my ex that actually brought that to your attention.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they mentioned in the first movie that they've known each other since childhood, pretty much. I'm like,
Yeah.
right? But nope, apparently not. Anyway, but even then, it's like, no, even like the college stuff, it is stereotypical college stuff. You ever seen a college movie ever, you've seen a good majority of Monty.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, like, my main issue. But even that is, like, fantastic animation. You know,
Yes.
some pretty good characters.
Well, the designs are still spectacular all around.
It was also weird knowing that Paul Eating, aka Colonel Campbell from Metal Gear Solid, was in that game.
Wait, who is he?
He was like the main teacher for the base.
Oh, for the scare program.
Yeah.
Ah.
Wait. I thought that was Dr. Octopus.
It was, but I could because like something about the way he talked, I could have. No, I don't know. Maybe it was, but at the same time, it's like the most. Yeah.
I'm almost positive it was Dr. Octopus. Look it up.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I think I made my main points. You know, just like I mean, it is your typical college flick for better or worse.
Oh come on, it has Nathan Fillion. That's gotta count
Yeah.
for something.
Yes.
I just love to design the monsters. Like
Yeah, you know what else had Nathan Fillion but didn't count for something? It's called White Noise 2.
Wait, is that actually a thing?
Yeah, it was direct to DVD. It's like I tried.
Oh, that's why.
He does a great job, but it's just like I couldn't get into it. So just like I'll save this for another point in time.
Oh, tear. Anyway.
But
But no, it's like I still think it works very well. Like I said, it is very predictable until the third act. Like that third act is really what makes it stand apart, and I've still got to get the movie on DVD so I can watch that part again. But yeah, that's pretty much the best part of the movie.
well, I guess you were right. It was Alfred Molina.
I love being right. Anyway.
Well, they both sound exactly the same, just like all heroic voice actors now, right? At the moment.
Well, now we got Jack Bauer playing Metal Gear, or Solid Snake, or Snake, whatever the hell they call him these days.
Just all I'm gonna say is look up Troy Baker, Roger Craig Smith, Matthew Mercer, and to a lesser extent Nolan North, and they sound exactly the same.
Well, Troy Baker and Nolan North aren't sound that similar. At least Troy Baker can do a very good, Joker impression.
Yes, you can. But I mean, on the average, their typical voices they sound the same. But that's besides the point.
Anyway,
I made my point about my number 8.
Alright, Sarah.
Okay. You and I actually have the same number 8.
Oh, there we go. All right.
You basically hit a lot of the same points that I was going to make. I will add that whoever designed the scenery and artwork did their homework. I felt like I was on that campus.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Keep in mind that a lot of animation majors from San Jose State, they tend to go into Pixar or Disney, so
Yes,
I'm fairly certain that because like
some parts of Monsters U looked like San Jose State to me.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'm very biased because I go to school there, and it's the main campus that I'm familiar with. But I could see similarities. Like I could see the clock tower. I could see the lawns. And
I mean, this doesn't sound like every other campus known to man, but
okay.
That still works to its favor, though.
yeah,
Yes.
it's like they probably like borrowed from different campuses here and there.
I'm sure
Probably.
they did.
But I appreciated that. I appreciated the little nuances, like when one of the monsters was rushing to finals week with an entire pot of coffee and
if you weren't gonna mention that, I was gonna.
in one of its arms. I loved Nathan Fillion's performance. I mean, it's Captain Mal. Come on.
I prefer Captain Hammer.
What? No love for Castle?
No.
Oh.
Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog is awesome too.
Yep.
I need to get that on DVD.
Can't wait for the second one.
Yeah, they're actually making that now.
Sweet. Anyway.
God knows what's gonna release. Anyway.
So it's very touching, and I also appreciated the honesty and introspection and the respect for the intelligence of the audience, and it's a really well put together family film.
Well, to add on to what you were saying to that, I made a point of really highlighting this in the review, is the fact that one thing I really like about Monster University is the overall moral that the movie has.
Yes.
Which is the fact that more often than not, you're not gonna get what you originally wanted to get, but you'll end up where you need to be. Yeah. Which I thought was very good, especially for kids. That's a very good moral to have.
Yeah.
Guess who's not an animation major anymore?
That's what I'm saying that it respected the intelligence levels of the audience, and that moral I can relate to. Heck, out of high school, I thought that I wanted to be a nurse, and
Then reality.
then I tried it, and I realized it's not for me, and I want to be a DJ. So here I am.
Hey, I just went through that recently myself, so I can relate in that regard as well. But no, it's one of those things because there's so many fucking movies that shove that same goddamn stupid moral down your throat. Like, if you just hold on to your dreams, it'll become true.
Well,
no, fuck.
not
it.
always.
No,
No.
in all fairness, though, that still did happen at the end, though.
True, but at the same time,
but
it's again not where you wanted to be, but you ended where you needed to be.
Yes.
Wait, where do they want to be? The Scare Program? Where do they end up at the end of the movie by the end of the credits? The Scare Program?
No, actually, they got kicked off campus, remember?
No,
Yeah.
but remember, they ended up going from the ranks and they ended up in the Scare Program.
True, but the point is, he's still not a scarer,
Yeah.
but he found a place that fits him better. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, well, for Sully it did, but...
Yeah, well, for Sully, I mean, the movie wasn't about Sully, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Well, it's Mike's story,
Yeah.
not Sully's. Yes, Sully is an integral part of it.
Wait,
But
actually, he did become a scare. Do you remember,
but it's
No, he didn't.
it's Mike's story.
Yeah.
Because at the climax of the movie, he tries, but he utterly fails at it. That's the point.
Well, if you include, where the first movie ends up going.
Well, technically,
So
does
so
anyone call it scares at that point, or more
Yeah.
comedians?
No, they were scares. Regardless, because remember, they both ended up going to the field.
You got my point. Either way, moving on.
Yeah. So,
Touching family film, and I recommend it as well.
Speaking of Disney, my number 7 spot. I don't know if this is on your list, Sarah. My number 7 is Saving Mr. Banks.
Only 7?
Only 7 for me. I got a lot of good ones on here. Now, Saving Mr. Banks was a very recent film that came out a few weeks ago, which is the Disney film about the Mary Poppins thing. Now, I actually watched the NC review about this one, and he brought up a very good point, which is the territory this movie really explored is very unfounded for Disney.
Yes.
Not just exploring how a movie was made. And actually, it's very much more honest about the story than you expect Disney to be, except for the very, very end. But when they kind of fluff up the whole that she absolutely hated the movie thing by making her cry about something else, kind of sort of related.
yeah. Still need to see that movie, too.
It's very, very good. It's very well made. It's just standout performances. A lot of people doubted Tom Hanks as Walt Disney. I never did. I thought it was perfect casting, and I was right. But I take that back. I didn't never doubt it. There was a time that I kind of came around to it. But I have a friend who's convinced that the guy who played Tony Stark's dad in Iron Man 2 should have played Walt Disney in this movie.
Well, he's
Okay.
just going to be Ian Fleming.
Yeah,
So,
so
over that.
pretty much. That's pretty much what I told him, but he hasn't watched Mad Men, so...
Well, I meant a BBC series coming out where he's going to be Ian Fleming, a.k.a. the guy who created James Bond. But...
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm thinking of something entirely different. Anyway, I still thought Tom Hanks did a very good job. Of course, what's the name of the main actress who was in that?
Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson. I was going Emma Watson's no, that's not right.
Oh, that would be kind of awkward.
Yes. Oh, ha, Sarah. Forgot about that. Emma
Watch
Thompson.
the review if you want to know.
Clarification, yeah. Emma Thompson just knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yes.
Paul Giamatti also does a very good job. It's a minor role, but it's Paul Giamatti.
A very charming role, though.
And of course, I think kind of the one performance that some people are going to mention, unfortunately, is the Colin Farrell
Which is
as
really good.
Emma Thompson's dad in the flashbacks. Again, very underrated performance.
Yes.
But I felt like he did a very good job. It's a Disney movie that's really geared much more for adults than it is for kids.
Yes.
Much more. To a surprising degree. Again, that's kind of unfounded for Disney in a lot of ways. They do tend to pander, they do tend to preach, but this one is no, it tackles adult subjects. It's very much geared for adults. They talk about tragedy, they talk about loss, they talk about fucking alcoholism, and what these certain characters mean to to their creators. There's a great scene towards the very end with Walt Disney and Emma Thompson.
Oh, when he goes to visit her?
Yeah, when he goes to visit her. But before then, he's having a conversation with the Music Brothers. What are they?
The Sherman Brothers.
Sherman Brothers. And he basically says, talking about kind of her reluctance to tell the character, he kind of tries to relate to it by saying, I had tons of offers for people to buy out Mickey for me, but I could never actually do any of them because he was family to me. So it's stuff like that. it does make an attempt to understand the characters and the struggles, and it's very well written. And again, it has, even in a minor thing, the stuff they let Walt Disney do in this movie is very surprising for Disney, because
especially considering that it's a Disney movie featuring the founder of the Disney Corporation as one of the characters.
they let him swear for one thing.
And smoke.
And smoke.
Oh, everybody smoked back in the 50s.
Yeah, well, it's more pertinent when you consider the fact that Walt Disney died of lung cancer shortly after Mary Poppins was released.
Now, that I did not know.
Yeah, so that's kind of a big important detail. You don't actually see him smoke. You hear him put it out. And he mentions talks about how he doesn't like people see him smoking. But even then, again, I was watching the NC review and he brought a very good point, which is he is nice, he is charismatic, but there's also very much of a sense that he always ends up kind of getting his way.
You watched the Disney December?
I did, yeah. But that's a good point. I thought it was very valid. Is the fact that
it is.
So that way you get the kind of more deceitful side of Walt Disney, along with the very charming and very likable. So again, it's very well balanced. And of course, I don't need to say more about Emma Thompson. I mentioned, some parts bugged me. There were some very schmarmy moments in there, very kind of cheesy moments that I was
It's Disney.
I know,
It's part of the charm.
but at the same time, a movie that's taken itself pretty seriously up to this point, to kind of throw in those kind of absurdly cheesy moments is kind of distracting. But that being said, I'm not saying none of them work. It's kind of distracting. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So yeah, that's my number 7. I'm sure we'll end up talking about it again later. So take it away.
We're at number 7?
Yep.
For me, number 7 would be Star Trek Into Darkness.
A controversial choice.
What was it? It was rated as the worst. I find it funny that apparently on some sites for Trekkies, this is rated the worst Star Trek movie ever made.
What?
Even worse than Star Trek 5.
What the fuck? Really? Really? Come on.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah. Well, once again,
It's worse than,
It's the same reason people were ticked off with Iron Man 3. They basically encroached upon sacred territory.
Well, it's basically a Wrath of Khan remake with a surprise twist.
Well, I get why people were pissed off about it, but it's I was fine with it.
No, I mean,
It's we all saw it coming from a mile away, but...
okay, as a sci-fi...
Look at the shirt!
yes. Yes, I'm the Trekkie of the team.
Yes, I remember your rant at the beginning of that video.
Yes, so I said this in the review, and I had this reaction for the first J.J. Abrams reboot film. As a sci-fi action film, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it has high energy, and it is put together well, and has charismatic actors playing lovable characters. As a Star Trek film, I still debate whether or not to call it Trek.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you can make the James Bond argument with it too. Much
was it in Simpsons? Not this last one, but the week before, it's just it's you know what I really love? The new James Bond movie. I like how they do, I like how they don't make him attractive. I like how he doesn't have any gadgets. I like they don't really make him James Bond. It was I also like how he doesn't hit anything he shoots. That's cool. Involved by that, just wait, was Skyfall out last year?
No, it was year before.
All right, that was November.
So yes, I saw it. I enjoyed it. If it comes on, I'll probably watch it again. But
because for me, it's pretty much that was the reason. Ignoring the fact that maybe it wasn't necessarily a good Star Trek movie, which was kind of the point. It was a very fun movie. It did a good job trying to focus on building up some of these characters, even trying a little bit further. Even if I felt like some of those moments were just kind of wasted.
okay.
The thing between Spock and Uhura, that just kind of didn't really go anywhere.
Easy there, Tiger.
What else? Why are you mad at that?
Let's not get started on that. That's
Even though Gene Roddenberry originally wanted to be between Uhura and Spock, but then Shatner became a...
Oh yes, I'm aware of the history.
Yeah, I know. I know you're aware.
Uh,
I'm just being a smart ass.
Yes, and another
Poking
piece.
the bear.
Another piece of trivia that episode was aired the same year that interracial marriage between African Americans and whites was made legal in the United States and nationwide.
There's actually a fun fact about that. Don't get a little topic for.
But I will say this about the Star Trek reboot movies. Simon Pegg as Scotty is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Scotty
Because
has
at least he actually has a Scottish accent.
Scotty
Some
actually
people say it's like
has
pretty fake.
some of the best lines and line deliveries.
Yeah.
Scotty rocks. I will give this reboot that much.
Please, give it to Bones. What? I want to give a cesarean to like a Mongolian octuplets. And let me tell you, those little bastards bite.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
But,
Holy
yeah,
crap.
fucking A. I mean, granted, it's weird that Khan changed, ethnicity and
Yeah.
voice tone and really.
Pretty much, it's just like
structure.
how did he go from I can't even remember what the heck he was now. It's like because Khan Singh. It's just like Muslim Indian, and it's just like
White
Punjabi
Englishmen.
specifically. No, and the fact is, Muslims and like Sikhs don't exactly get along together. So hearing that combination, just like, and yeah, the fact that suddenly he's now a British white person.
Uh-huh.
It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the universe changed that much, because did he exist before everything kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe he passed by his son in the other timeline? I don't know.
And let's see what else.
Oh, old canon. I miss you.
And of course, the little switch between the fate of Kirk and Spock was...
The surprise twist.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It was just like, I knew where it was going, and it's just like, at the same
Yeah.
time, just like, it kind of killed the impact.
It
As
does.
well as just-
It really
As
does.
well as just that scream. Khan! Or as my friend puts it,
To be honest, I said in the review, I was okay with it. Like, it didn't bug me.
Yeah.
Like, I get why it bugged other people, but it didn't bug me that much.
No, it's like I didn't mind the Khan twist. I thought, it's just kind of, a weak switch because, like
It
there's
is a weak switch.
there's a reason why the death happened. And it's like, the idea that, spoiler, Kirk was revived 10 minutes later, which we all saw coming, just kind of completely undercut it.
Yes, it does.
Well, to be fair, Spock,
Undercut, my new favorite word.
Spock was brought back in the next fucking movie he was into.
Yes, but at least
Yeah.
then they made a journey out of it.
But it was a separate movie. It didn't happen in the same film that he died in.
Yeah.
I just know that one, Christopher Lloyd. So.
And also, there was still sacrifice that had to come in from the next movie in order
Yes.
to make sure that he got out alive.
I never saw 3, I skipped right to 4. So.
Fair enough. Which reminds me, I still need to see number 4, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, even with those issues, that was just a good, fun movie. Oh, also, let's not forget, why would you hold the secret meeting in an open window location?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
I'm just like,
Apparently,
I'm an art major! And film, and even I know that's not...
apparently Starfleet intelligence isn't always that intelligent.
Yeah. But yeah, despite those issues, just a fun movie, some pretty good moments, character development.
Yeah.
A little bit of a step down compared to the first one, but it was still very solid nonetheless.
It almost made my list, but I'm still kind of on the fence about the reboot.
I can tell. Yeah, I think it's fair to say. On that note, Sarah.
So this is number 7?
Yes.
Okay, my number 7 is a Disney film which I initially really thought I was going to hate because the teaser trailer for this did not do it justice at all.
Oh, yeah.
My number 7 is Frozen.
We all thought this was gonna suck.
Oh my god. Seeing the initial teaser trailer, pretty much you and I had the same
We both fucking hated it.
Oh, yeah.
reaction. It's like, I hate this instantly, and I'm gonna give some of my friends credit. So I was out and about with friends who wanted to see it. I was on the fence about it. One of my friends said that they'd buy my ticket. Thank you, Joey. And
Shout out to Joey.
yes, and I actually loved it. I think this is the best animated film Disney has made in years.
No, I agree. Problem is the teaser trailer made it look like it was like a Tom and Jerry movie with like a snowman and a reindeer.
Oh, reindeer, right.
Or that just, for some bizarre reason, acted like a dog.
Yes, the teaser trailer is incredibly annoying and is no accurate indication of how this film actually is. And it's a musical with really good songs, and one of the
It's missing a
main
good villain song.
one of the main songs is sung by a Broadway star who I love from Wicked. So it's
Only thing I know her from is Glee. I feel sad.
You should be sad.
It's a wonderful return to form for the Disney animated feature. It's intelligent. It's touching. It has some twists that are actually refreshing for a Disney film.
No, I definitely agree.
And
Others kind of weak.
yes,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm not saying it's perfect. It's my number 7, but I legitimately loved it. I was really surprised at this one, to be honest.
No, I was surprised too. What I liked about Frozen, and I'm sure we'll probably end up talking about it later, is yeah. Anyway, so where was I going with this? Now I remember. Okay, my brain goes all over the place. Love it. Yeah, pretty much. I like that it addressed a lot of annoying Disney cliches
It
that
does.
I absolutely fucking hated. Even when I was a kid, I hated it.
Such as?
Such as, for example, you meet for 5 seconds and you know instantly.
Yeah.
It's
Like
intelligent.
it fucking addresses it. Like it, like this, like in the movie, like she meets this prince, and then they instantly fall in love over the course of one song sequence, and they like, we're gonna get married. And the other sister goes, you don't fucking know him. You just met him like tonight. So that was like, yes, they finally talked about it. Even
Yes.
then, like there's a song with the trolls towards the middle act that basically says, again, another cliche that I've always hated in these movies. That basically says, you know what? Yeah, you're in love with him, but you're not gonna change him. It's like, love doesn't fix everything, it's more just accepting each other's flaws.
Yes,
But like, again, I like that they finally said it.
I do too.
They never say it. And every Disney movie is exactly the same. Where either the male or woman is insanely flawed and love makes it better. No. Here they're both fucking flawed and they both know it. So that, again, that was refreshing. And
it was.
aside from the stupid villain twist, which I'm sure is the part that irritated you,
Yeah.
and the stuff with the whole true love thing, again, was a nice, pleasant twist.
That was a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw it coming, but like, I'm glad, once again, as you said, they started getting a cliche with it.
Yeah, so it's like they acknowledge the cliches and they kind of have their own fun with it. So I like that they did that.
Which is so smart and refreshing, and I am hoping that they will make other animated features along these lines, because I really think this is a return to form for them. And I grew up watching the hand-drawn 2D animated films, and I'll be honest, I miss those. I'm still kind of this type of animation, unless it's Pixar, is kind of hit or miss for me, but I really enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yep.
Let me guess. Is Frozen going to be your number 6?
No, it's not actually.
Mind if I talk about it a bit more? I guess I can throw it since it's mine.
Oh, go for it.
Is
Yeah.
that way we might as well just kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
Yep, go for it.
I pretty much agree with you guys on most all that. Like I said, the only thing as I said, that kind of really, this music for me, as I said, was kind of hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
sometimes
loved Let It Go.
I will agree with you there.
Yes.
Like
See,
that was,
I actually liked Let It Go that much, to be honest.
yeah.
Like I thought it was very well sung, don't get me wrong, but I missed the classic villain songs. Like every Disney movie, that's always my favorite part. Even Princess and the Frog, that movie wasn't very good.
Oh,
But
I
Friends on the Other Side is a fucking
Yeah.
great song.
I
It
did
is,
not.
yes.
I did not like the music in that movie, but that was a good song.
It was a
It
great
was.
fucking song. I love those fucking songs. They didn't have that here. That disappointed me. But
Yeah, because for me, it's like as I said, music was hit and miss. I actually really enjoyed. What was it Snowman in the Summer?
you mean the Snowman song, or
Yeah.
the song about building a snowman at the beginning of the movie?
Oh,
The one where he talks about like what it'd be like to live.
Oh yeah. Okay.
in summer.
Yeah, as I said, Let It Go. Like
I will admit that was a good song.
It is.
Because that was one that, like, I felt like the lyrics, it had some depth to it. It was well sung. And, like, just some great wordplay in there as well.
Yes, and I was watching a video on that guy with the glasses, and the highbrow reviewer mentioned about the clever nuance of Let It Go, about how she's singing about how she's free, but her comes as a result of her isolation.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is very smart.
And I will say, the snowman, who I expect to be the most annoying thing since Jar Jar Binks,
Yes.
He's tolerable.
I actually really enjoyed him.
Like he
he's
made
very
it work.
charming.
He made it work more than you expected to.
Yes, which is surprising.
Like, the part that I just lost in that, though, was the thing, like, right when was Kristoff meets the, he's seeing the trolls, they're not revealed yet. It's just...
Oh, yeah. Or it's like, run away.
Yeah, he's like, all distracted. Hi, it's so great to meet you. Seriously, why aren't you running?
That was great!
Oh, God, I was dying in the theater.
I'm doing this because I care.
Yeah, just because I love you. Oh, God, that was, yeah. And like I said, it's like, as I said, my main issue is mostly just like, it still kind of fell into some of those cliches, like, so even they mentioned the whole, only know each other for a day thing, but they started, like, you sort of get the same sense with Kristoff and Princess, whose name I can't remember.
Anna. Excuse me.
Yeah. Like, that's still kind of there.
Yeah, I know. I got the names mixed up. I'm sorry.
At least you remember them. So
I don't, actually. I just know that I got like 5 comments from Sarah. It's like, you got the names mixed up. You got the names mixed up. I know!
Yeah.
I'm sorry!
It makes it frustrating to watch the review because it's so confusing.
And
yeah, it was confusing for me too because the names were so fucking similar. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And as I said,
And Elsa. One has an L, one
villain
doesn't.
review was kind of weak. Like, it was kind of playing into the theme of, like, you don't know about it. What about the chance it could be a villain? It was like, okay, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's just like, it kind of happened. But
The villain, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the villain was weak, but...
Yeah.
And he had no epic villain song, which was disappointing.
He was just...
That was, yes.
Yeah, it was just a very... it was just a very bland villain.
Yeah, he was.
Well,
to be fair, I mean, I understand the purpose he served. I understand why
most
they made
of
him a villain, but
the characters had depth and nuance.
Yeah. They did.
And were nuanced,
But he was the kind of exception.
He was the cardboard cutout.
Yeah, it's like... It was the same issue I had with Sam Neill in, was it Daybreakers? Like, at first he seemed like kind of an interesting character, then you just realized, oh, no, he's really just kind of your typical money grabber douche.
Greed. Anyway. That's the same villain Hans Gruber had in Die Hard, but at least he was interesting.
Exactly.
But, okay, so...
He was voiced by Alan Rickman.
Oh, yeah. And his
not
first
voice played.
Oh. Yeah, voice. We had a stand-in for Alan Rickman. Here's a Muppet. As Alan Rickman's voice.
It's me.
Maybe next time I get to somewhere you do care about.